as the newish rector of Corpus Christi College to welcome you here this evening to the launch of the Archbishop's Dinner, proudly organised by the Press Support and Education Fund. We thought it important to invite you into the heart of what we do, praying in the chapel, singing together, and then coming over here to eat and have fellowship and some speeches and fun. And just in case you wanted to pray forever in the chapel, I thought it might be necessary to smoke you out with some incense. There are many familiar faces here today. Please know that you're all very welcome here. We particularly welcome Carmen Miranda, President or Chairman of the Pre-Support and Education Fund, and also John and Barbara Ralph, who very generously sponsor the Holy Land scholarships. There'll be some further proceedings and speeches as we go, but for now, please relax as we serve the main course. I will bless the food in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we're about to receive from thy bounty through Christ. Amen. Amen. Our chef, Jeff Blue, who always feeds us so well. However, that does also lead to a misapprehension. Carmen asked me, do we always eat this well? I assure you that is not the case. We're very well provided for, which we're grateful for as well. Many of you know Carmen already, the chairman of the Pre-Support and Education Fund. It's been my privilege this year to have several meetings with regard to the Archbishop's Dinner. He's certainly a man of great enthusiasm, but his enthusiasm is always matched by his delivery as well. And we're very honoured that he continues to do the role he does. So I invite you, Carmen, to say some words. Thank you.
Father Cameron, Reverend Fathers, seminarians, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of the 25th Knights of Southern Cross Archbishop's Dinner, or Press Support and Education Fund Archbishop's Dinner, or should I say the 25th presentation of a cheque to the Archbishop. Because we did have 2 years where we weren't able to do it because of COVID, but we're still able to pass on a cheque for $60,000 in both those years. But for our purpose, we're going to say it's the 25th year of the dinner, the annual dinner. Father Cameron, thank you for allowing us to be part of the prayers tonight in the chapel and making the seminary available for everybody. I welcome Paul Mitchell, the State Chairman of the Knights of Southern Cross. Can you please stand up? The cheque officially to the Archbishop on the night of the Archbishop's Dinner. That's what's important, you know who he is. I'd also like to welcome our Knights Consultant Chairman, John Bruce, and his lovely wife, Patricia. Special thank you to all our dedicated and loyal sponsors, because without you, your generosity over the last 24 years, there's no way known we would have been able to achieve passing on $1.4 million to the Archbishop for our seminarians. So thank you very much. Last year, I was very proud last year we were able to pass on our biggest cheque that we've ever passed on to the Archbishop, and it was $86,000. So fantastic effort, yeah. John Ralph always says to me that you might have passed on the biggest cheque, but you haven't had the biggest number of people attend the function. That is true. But one of these days I'll hopefully get to that magical figure, John. But last year, $86,000, tremendous effort. And it was only possible because of the hard work of everybody here tonight. And, you know, with a few new faces, a few potential new sponsors, hopefully we can get above that figure in 2023. Big clap, mate. This year's Archbishop's dinner will be held on Friday the 1st of September at Moonee Valley Racecourse, same venue that it's been now for, I think it's the last 8 years. That is a great venue, but you can probably clap after this, but I can formally announce to everybody that our guest speaker is our new rector here at the seminary, Father Cameron Forbes. Now, as Father Cameron said, that we've met a few times, and I actually thought he was a lot younger than what he actually is. Maybe I'm too old, but he's doing a marvellous job here at the moment, and I'm sure that with what he's been doing, going overseas and just seeing how some of the other seminaries operate, and his attitude, you know, he's going to kick plenty of goals here at the seminary going forward. So, good luck, and I know you don't need it, but good luck and all the best going forward. Our Master of Ceremonies will be Brian Martin, one of Victoria's best ever race callers, and our auctioneer, the one and only KSC member, Brian Kane. Now, you've probably heard me say this now a few times, but this is, I always said that I'd love to get 400 people to attend the event, and you know, I think 450 is the best we've ever got, and 350 is the least we've ever got. You know, last year, I honestly did believe that if we got 350, I would have been ecstatic. To get 400 last year, coming out of COVID, was incredible. Okay, and the final result was even more incredible. This year, COVID's forgotten, so you know I'd love to see in excess of 400 people attend, and I would ensure that we can pass on a cheque to the Archbishop in excess of $86,000 for our seminarians. But I'm not going to be able to do it myself. My committee ain't going to be able to do it. That's where we need the support of everybody here, and to go back to your parishes and promote the event, all right? Friends, parishes, any acquaintances, you know, ideally Catholic like-minded people to come to the night to support our seminarians. On everybody's table you will see a brochure. There's a few on everybody's table. If you haven't already read it, take it home, read it, but we've got 4 sponsorship levels to get in as a sponsor. We've got the platinum level, which is $10,000, which entitles you to 10 seats at the dinner. Your business will be promoted from today till the day of the dinner, and at the dinner, of course. Gold is $5,000, 8 places, same thing. Logos promoted, business promoted. Silver, $2,500, 6 seats at the dinner, and bronze, 4 places at the dinner for $1,000. That's for our sponsors, and I'd love to be able to, you know, somebody come at the end of the night come and say to me, look, I really like what you do, and I want to support you. All right, so that's a start. But the most important thing to me is bums on seats, right? So everybody knows that. But I reckon if I can get you there, then you're going to buy some raffles, and you're going to bid for some auction prizes. But I'm talking to the converted here, but I want to make sure that I can get very close to John, right? John Ralph. You know, as I said, that's one record that could be very hard to beat. But 500, you know, he mentions every year that he got 500, so that's one of my goals. 500 is something to look at. So please even if you know people that aren't here tonight that could possibly assist with the sponsorship of our seminarians, pass it on to them. You're most welcome to take as many brochures as you like home at the end of the night. Okay, so that's important. And thank you, Pat. Val's no longer here, so when Val was here, she'd make sure that we'd follow deadlines a bit tougher than that. So I apologise for being a little bit late to you, but thank you for being able to produce these on time for us. Well, thank you. And of this fund from day one. So thank you very much, Pat, and Widens. While I've got the floor, I might as well introduce my committee. Now, if I'd have all my committee stand up first, because people reckon they'll take too long, pushing my committee. So if everybody on my committee can please stand up. Don't be shy. All right, Angela stood up first. So Angela's in charge of events management. So her job at the end of the day is one of the hardest, where she's got to make sure that when people respond, and sometimes people respond, they say they want table 10, they don't give us names. Makes it hard, but that's the main job in getting out your tickets. Angela, thank you very much, Angela. John Gould, publicity and promotions. At the end of the day, these books don't get produced if it wasn't for people like John to make sure that we include everything on time to Pat. So thank you very much, John. Man behind the video, I can't even see him at the moment, but Andrew Vaccaro, at the end of the day, he's the secretary of the fund. I'm actually off to overseas Monday, Tuesday next week, so the deputy responsibilities pass on to Andrew for the next 6 weeks, and I know he'll do a marvellous job. But everything you see tonight is on YouTube, so just look up. I'm not sure what the site is, but look up Pre-Support Education Fund Launch, and it'll be there on YouTube. But any photos, and a lot of people know Andrew. Pretty much every KSC event, anything to do with the Catholic Church, he's involved in, and video tapes it, and it's on YouTube. So marvellous job there, Andrew.
Take a photo of yourself, Andrew.
Joe O'Brien. Joe, at the end of the day, he's the countersigner to the cheques, so he's our treasurer, so he's a very important man. But thank you very much, Joe. He gave me a couple of cheques tonight to pass on to seminary tonight, so that'll be done. I'll leave you till last. And then we've got our consultants. Gavin, that's here tonight. Gavin's been a member of the committee since day one. So it'll be his 25th year he's been on the committee. You know, fantastic effort, Gavin. He always says he doesn't have much control over the Tobins, but I don't agree with that. He always says he has nothing, but I don't believe that's right. As well as Gavin, we've also got Pauline Butler and Norm MacArthur that are also consultants to the fund. So they're not here tonight, but thank you. Then we've got, you're hiding down there, then we've got people that everybody should know, Leon and Linda, they've been involved here at the seminary for many, many years. And their son, Father Nathan, come through the system, and very proud parents, and Father Nathan's a magnificent man, and he brought up fantastic, and pretty much anybody that comes to any events would know them. This year, from coming to the event last year, I was able to convince them to join our committee, and thank you very much. Their job is one of the hardest jobs, and theirs is sponsorship. Sorry, theirs is fund management, funds. Fundraising. That's it, fundraising. So first of all, if you've got any items, if you've you've got any items that you've got at home and you haven't opened and you don't think it's worthy of yourselves, let us know. We'll take them off your hands and we'll auction them off at the silent auction. If you know anybody that's got a restaurant, let us know. We'll pass on the vouchers to Linda and Leon. But it's one of the hardest jobs of the committee, so if you can help us out, it'd be greatly appreciated. And thank you, Linda and Leon. Last but not least is Nadia. Now, the ones who were here last year, you would have seen what I spoke about Val last year, and probably over the last 3 years, Val's probably took Nadia under her wings and sort of gave her connections, people to contact for sponsorship, and probably the last 2 years now, she's probably done it pretty much herself. So when you get a phone call from her, give it a courtesy, a quick phone call, respond, yes, happy to support, or no, not happy to support, rather than she comes to our meeting and says, oh, I think they're going to support, but they haven't heard nothing from them. But she's really the backbone of the committee, because at the end of the day, it's the sponsorship that tells us how much money we're going to pass on to the Archbishop. Okay? So when you get a phone call from her, if you can say yes, it'll make my job a lot easier, and it'll keep her happy, and I'm sure it'll keep Andrew happy as well. All right, but thank you very much, Nadia, for all that. On behalf of the KSC Pre-Support Education Fund, I'd like to thank the Lamanas, Helen and the family for their continued support of today's event. This will be the 12th year that Helen and the family have sponsored today. All right, so magnificent effort. Thank you very much, Helen and the family. It's been a pretty tough year for the family, so it's with sadness that during the past 12 months we lost two of our most loyal patrons of the fund. We lost Mel de Bock and Pat Lamana. So, you know, we've got to keep the family in our prayers. So they've done it hard this year, but their work to with the success of our fund, you know, we owe you more than you could ever give us. So thank you very much, Helen and the family. We also had another hard-working committee member pass away. He was also past chairman he was the past state chairman of the Knights as well, David Pignolay, so I just wanted to mention him as well. So there's three very important people that over the last 12 months have passed away, that have been involved in the fund in a big way. So please keep all their families in our prayers. Thank you.
So much, Carmen. It's a wonderful achievement, 25 years of the Archbishop's Dinner, a milestone to be celebrated on the 1st of September. So I wish to publicly thank you and your committee so much for the tireless work that you do for us here, particularly for our seminarians and their formation. So thank you so much. Thank you. We're also very grateful through the generosity of John and Barbara Ralph and the Knights of the Southern Cross that every year two Holy Land scholarships are awarded as well. It's customary at this occasion, this event, to announce who the recipients will be. But before we do that, to check that those who were given the award last year actually went, they're going to give us a little report. So we welcome Deacons Tien and Peter to come and address us.
Good evening. I haven't got any proof that But I'm gonna just tell a bit about my experience in the Holy Land. So as you know, myself and Peter were very lucky to be the recipients of the Holy Land Scholarship last year. So December last year we had just a little bit over 3 weeks in the Holy Land. We almost missed our flights to Israel, to Tel Aviv, when we were at Bangkok airport because of the, as you know, the Thai security that they do getting on an Israeli airline. But we did get there. So we began our journey in Nazareth. We had 5 days in Nazareth. It was lovely, beautiful city where Jesus grew up. Then we went from there to Galilee, and we spent 7 days around the Sea of Galilee, which was, for me personally, was a big highlight of the trip. As I was sitting there on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, just imagining what it was like for the disciples, you know, being called by Jesus. The Sea of Galilee is just beautiful in itself, very peaceful and calm place. So I had a lovely time in Galilee, and then we moved out to the south to Jerusalem, where we based at the convent of Ecce Homo convent, the Sisters of Zion. We had 5 days there, which was lovely, and then we crossed the border from Israel to the other side, to Bethlehem for Christmas, which was a very special occasion. And there we saw, obviously, the real tension between Israel and the Palestine. As you cross the border, there were, you know, military tanks around. So, but yeah, overall, I had a wonderful experience, and certainly an experience that I'm not going to forget very quickly. Like traveling anywhere is beautiful, but particularly to the Holy Land, there's something about it that certainly helps bring the scriptures alive for me personally, but as I go on my vocation and my ministry, I continue to go back to that experience and continue to take a lot out of that. And already, as you know, I'm a deacon. I've been out in the parish the last couple of months, and even with preaching, you know, reflecting on the gospel, that experience of the Holy Land certainly helped a lot with that. So, Peter, do you have anything to say? Or? So just on behalf of Peter and myself, I'd just like to thank the Priest Support and Education Funds and John and Barbara Ruff for making this experience possible. We're very grateful for the opportunity, which I know is very special, and not everyone obviously gets to do it. So we're very grateful for the opportunity to do that. So just on behalf of just express our gratitude, just got a little gift from the Holy Land. Just like a mic. And I'd like to invite Barbara and Joan to receive the gift. Thank you.
To Tien and Peter. And I haven't organised a drum roll, but I can sense the tension mounting, because I would like to invite Barbara and Carmen to come forward to announce the recipients of this year's scholarships.
We raised 6 children. Shouting days are over. The scholarships presented tonight were initiated following a visit by Cardinal Foley to the lieutenancies of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre in each state, which he made in 2009, despite him being diagnosed with leukemia shortly before his departure from Rome. During his time in Melbourne, John arranged for him to visit this seminary to have lunch with the seminarians, during which he said that a pilgrimage to the Holy Land should be the objective of every priest. When we said to the rector then that we would like to do something to commemorate the Cardinal's visit, he proposed that the funds be put towards a pilgrimage to the Holy Land for 2 seminarians each year. Our own pilgrimage for 2 weeks in 2006 was a very confirming experience for us. Our heartfelt congratulations go to the 2 recipients this year. Your experience will include your attendance at the Christmas Midnight Mass in Bethlehem, which John has been able to arrange with the Latin Patriarchate for the visiting seminarians. The Cardinal Foley Scholarship for this year is awarded to True Fun. And the one in my name is for Jean Sebastian Jeremy.
Boys, you can stay up here still. Okay. Basically, the scholarships, John and Barbara Ralph and the KSC Presbyterian Education Fund. Wally Martin left some money, bequested some money to the Knights, and that money that he bequested we use solely for the scholarship funds. So on top of John and Barbara Ralph's kind donations, the Knights of Southern Cross will also be donating as well. We give it to the seminary and they'll pass it on to you. But there's now tonight, normally last year was the first year where we actually gave the award at the dinner, and this year at the dinner we'll give you his award. Tonight we've just got certificates. And we'll pass on. Families to come as well. Barbara, do you want to take a photo?
Congratulations to Trey and to Jean Sebastian. I didn't ask them to speak because I think they're still speechless. And we're just so grateful for this generosity. As you said, Barbara, Cardinal Foley said that every priest, or we might say seminarian, should visit the Holy Land. Here at the seminary, our whole aim is to shape our men to have the heart of Jesus Christ. And one of the best ways to do that is to walk where he walked, to live where he lived, to see where he trained his disciples, and to grow in deeper friendship with him, and to bring the scriptures alive, as Tian said. So we're very grateful for that indeed. And so now I would like to ask the Deputy Chairman of the Pre-Support and Education Fund, Andrew Vaccaro, to say a few words.
Reverend Fathers and Deacons, distinguished guests, good evening. I'm here tonight to just bring the connection to the Knights of the Southern Cross and the seminary and what people here may or may not know about the connection and how far back it goes. Now this year, as most people are probably aware by now, 2023 is the centenary of Corpus Christi College, as it was founded at Werribee Park. Last year was the centenary of the Knights of the Southern Cross Victoria. Now, it is well known that the Knights of the Southern Cross Victoria has been assisting Corpus Christi College since 1999 through the Archbishop's dinner. What many don't know is that the connection with the Knights of the Southern Cross Victoria and the seminary goes all the way back to the foundation of both institutions through the philanthropic efforts of the first state chairman of the KSC Victoria, Thomas Michael Burke. Born near Ararat on June 30, 1870, T.M. Burke began as a railway clerk in Melbourne and was active in politics, running unsuccessfully as a candidate for the electorate of Corangamite in the 1914 federal election. Entering real estate, his company, T.M. Burke Proprietary Limited, became an instant success, making home ownership easy during the years following World War I. Involved in horse racing and other secular philanthropic ventures, Burke would contribute much through the Catholic Church in Melbourne. His most notable philanthropic acts left a very large legacy. For those old Zaverians in the audience, he purchased Studley Hall, Kew in 1920, which he then donated to the Jesuits. This would become the preparatory school for the students of Xavier College, was renamed Burke Hall in his honour and remains part of Xavier College today. He also played a significant role in the establishment of Corpus Christi College Seminary, donating £5,000, which adjusted for inflation today is $455,000, to the overall £70,000, which is $6.4 million today, needed for the purchase of Werribee Park, the home and estate which would soon accommodate Victoria's seminarians. When the Knights of St Francis Xavier, formed in Melbourne in December 1917, merged with the Knights of the Southern Cross from New South Wales in March 1922, the first meeting saw the first Grand Council elected, with T.M. Burke elected as its first Grand Knight, or State Chairman. During the term of his chairmanship, Burke saw the order expand rapidly, with the formation of 17 new branches, 7 metropolitan and 10 regional branches, and the purchase of the new order headquarters at 214 Queen Street, Melbourne. Before the purchase of these headquarters, Burke occasionally presided over the secret installation ceremonies of new order members in his business office. In 1924, T.M. Burke was elected and given the honour of being the first National Supreme Knight of KSC Australia. Burke guided the National Order during its key formative years and early in his tenure sought support from the Holy See. In 1926, Burke visited Europe and North America, and while in Rome sought an audience with Pope Pius XI, where he presented His Holiness with a chalice made from Australian gold on behalf of the order throughout Australasia. Pope Pius XI presented Burke with an apostolic blessing, acknowledging the order's work throughout Australia and New Zealand and in his leadership of the National Order. While National Supreme Knight, Burke continued to involve himself heavily in church functions, with his involvement on the committee for the 1934 Eucharistic Congress in Melbourne and his continued lobbying throughout his life for state aid for Catholic education. His term as National Supreme Knight, in which he became the longest serving in order history, concluded in 1940. He entered his eternal reward on February 16, 1949. Thank you very much.
It's wonderful to learn of the very close connection between the Knights of the Southern Cross and our seminary, much of which I was not aware. as you heard, this is the 100th anniversary of the founding of Corpus Christi College. It's a very big year for us with different festivities, but something else very special is happening this year. Every seminarian here who is not in first year is attending World Youth Day in Lisbon in Portugal, another wonderful experience. And on the way to World Youth Day, 6 of our seminarians will be visiting the Holy Land as well. And I'd ask them to stand up if they could, please. Because not only to acknowledge them, but also the great generosity of John and Barbara Ralph in assisting with funding for that trip as well. So thank you. Now, I thought the singing was pretty good in the chapel, but we have a bit more practice here. And so we've prepared a special item by our scholar, probably more religious than entertainment, but nonetheless very enjoyable. So much to our scholar for that beautiful music under the direction of Xavier Ryan. Tonight has been a wonderful celebration, a wonderful launch, and there are several people who must be thanked. First and foremost, the chairman of the Pre-Support and Education Fund, Carmen Miranda. And his committee on the Pre-Support and Education Fund as well. We thank those from here, Jeff Blue, Diane Carey, our students and staff, but most particularly we thank our guests for your generosity, for your prayers and your trust in the work that happens here. Be assured that we will pray for you all as well. Thank you so much. We're going to finish with a short prayer, but afterwards please feel free to adjourn for dessert to our coffee room as well. Could you please stand? We give you thanks, Almighty God, for all your benefits who live and reign the world without end. Amen. May the divine assistance remain always with us.
And may the souls of the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen.